Dr. Kemi for Kemi Talks Media. Hate the Truth NG. A lot of you, when young, history was removed from schools and then it was returned later. But the period it was removed was a long period, the dirty 90s to the early millennium. So many children in that era don't know the history of Nigeria, the history of fighting between politicians, and so on and so forth. This tweet is very cryptic, and you know the meaning of cryptic. Someone has written something that's factual, and it's up to you to decode it. I do that a lot. And that's what Hate the Truth NG is about. This young man says initially Obasanjo wanted to kill Bola Ige, but Atiku is the one that carried on the execution successfully. Everything he said was right. If you know, you know in Nigeria, a lot of politicians know everything Kemi Olunloyo is saying. That's why the Northerners come to my page and say my voice is powerful. There is nothing to hide. No one's going to hide from Nigeria because one day Nigeria will change. This is a very, very long lost story, almost 25 years now, where somebody became a minister of power. Governor Bola Ige was the governor of Oyo State at one time, before my father, succeeded him as the new governor during the 1983 elections. Governor Bola Ige became the minister, Bola Ige, and went to Abuja to work as the minister of power for Obasanjo. And if you know the history of Nigeria, what happened in power was very disastrous with the Halliburton case and the $20 billion that the judges and the American government said Atiku looted. Atiku was the one that was convicted in that case, along with several people. Atiku sent a lot of people to jail. British, American, oil workers, oil makers, oil companies. A lot of people went to jail for the Halliburton scandal. All the bribes involved, everything. But one person didn't serve jail time, and that was Atiku. That's because Atiku was a sitting vice president. You can't arrest him. You can't convict him or what. Was convicted, but at the end of the day, what happened? The U.S. government just decided to ban him. He couldn't enter the U.S. for a long time. When he decided that he wanted to run for president, they gave him a temporary visa so that he can go to America and campaign to Nigerians over there. And that's what you saw in 2015, 2019, all those different times they ran. He can never be the president of Nigeria. When they took history out of school, the Northern youth had no idea of these things. We're telling them now so that they know very well in 2027. Atiku is not planning to run. He's already started giving vibes, and I'm telling you straight up, he's not running. If he tries to run again, he'll lose again. He's not going to win. Sadly, he was the one that actually won your 2023 election by a small margin. But INED made it, okay, Tinubu. Anything I tell you, you better take it in your heads, because 5 years' time, you'll not vindicate me. Peter Obi came second, Tinubu came third, but they used that power of the middle belt, upper FCT. They rigged the election. I did not report the election. I don't report politics. I don't get involved in any form of politics. I was quite through at that time. And I left Nigeria. I was just watching. There's some things that God doesn't give you because you've done evil. Atiku could have been your president now through that small margin. But if you do evil, evil comes right back to you. The IGP during that tenure said that he was under a lot of stress because of threats to his job, his family, and all that. How do you expect him to investigate Obasanjo and Atiku in the murder of Bola Ige? Bola Ige wanted out of power. He was frustrated. He didn't want to be part of it. They stole a lot of money over there. After all that scandal, Obasanjo removed him and put him in Attorney General of the Federation, and then they quickly killed him. My father and Obasanjo had a fight that was very long. My dad accused Obasanjo of killing Bola Ige. There was a day I stood in my living room in Nigeria, in Ibadan, and I saw my dad at the balcony, and he was shouting to everybody in the neighborhood. He goes out there, and while he's chilling, all the neighborhood people are greeting him from downstairs. Good morning, and he'll be waving to them like some larger-than-life character on top of the roof balcony, which he is. He's a larger-than-life character. 51 appointments in 64 years. Amalolulu, my father, will be 90 years old in 2 weeks, April 14th. On that day when my dad said Bola Ige Obasanjo killed Bola Ige, I just I don't know. I taped it, but I haven't posted it. I taped a lot of things that will shock you. I'm going to put them in reels, 1-minute interviews with my dad on the balcony, where I would ask him a question about Nigeria and he will answer. Nigeria is run by Daura Katsina, the people running Nigeria in there. Tinubu is just fronting for them. Anyone in Asirok just fronts for the people in Daura. Buhari's entire family runs Nigeria. It's not even Obasanjo. So at the end of the day, they said, Dad, did Obasanjo really kill Bola Ige? They said, yes, he did. That fight was so bad. Obasanjo didn't give my dad an appointment when he became president in 1999. That's how long that fight was. The reason he didn't give my dad that appointment was because my father worked for Abacha. My dad was in Abacha's administration. He was not in Babangida's administration. He's friends with Babangida. That's why I told you the story of the day my father was in Babangida's living room and 10 generals walked in and threatened Babangida that he should annul Abiola's election or else they'll kill him themselves. The 10-member delegation was led by General David Mark, the same guy that took his army uniform off and put on an agbada to become the Senate president. They destroy your life and career to elevate theirs. As I'm reading this story out to you, you know I don't read out of papers or anything. I'm really sad because I can't show you my face on this one because I wanted you to really see this tweet. I'm talking right out of my brain. We're in sad times in Nigeria. So my dad worked in the Abacha government because Abacha called my father. Abacha feared my father and asked the Yoruba man to come to Abuja to see him. This man killed a lot of people. That he wanted him to do a job for him because he's intelligent. He wanted my father to run the confab so that he can say Nigeria is a good country, the democracy is good. So my father went and started the confab. Not the confab, the last one that everybody was at. Dorakunle looked like a skeleton and everything was coming out. Not that one, the one before that. Abacha wanted the confab so that it can look good to the world. My dad did the confab. He was roommates with Wale Awolowo, and I've told you that side of the story, how they killed Abiola when my father fled Abuja with Wale, and they drove 16 hours. There's a lot of stories to be told, but if you don't want to believe it, I don't have to tell it. I'm not wasting my time. And this young man said, Atiku made sure the execution was successful. They were president and vice president. They've done a lot of evil, and they're still alive. Because of the cybercrime law in Nigeria that doesn't allow journalists to work, many of us fled. If I was in my house in Lagos, and I wouldn't have been arrested by the DSS for defamation because of this video I'm doing. Fuck everybody in Nigeria. The government and their supporters. Dr. Kemi.